I grew up dealing with mental and emotional abuse, and over this past Christmas break, it got really bad. So I had my best friend come pick me up, and I spent the night hanging out with him and his family. And when they dropped me off the next morning, my parents had packed my clothes in boxes and all of the things I would need, like my birth certificate and social security card, in a folder.
When I went to the counselor and got connected with Teens with Promise, at that time I was sleeping in my car, didn't have very much clothes, didn't have blankets, didn't have really anything.
You know, I had what I thought at the time was a fairly typical childhood, with the exception that my dad is an alcoholic, or was an alcoholic. He's since passed, and he was quite abusive.
When I was 12 years old, my father and I became homeless. My mother was an alcoholic. She did take my brother and leave. We ended up moving into a motel.
It was definitely cold. It was during the winter time. So it was cold without a blanket. Even though you have your car running, it isn't the warmest. And then there was the times where I didn't have a lot of gas in my car, so I would have to shut my car off. And at that time it was cold as well. So whatever clothes that I did have, I did put those on my feet most of the time to try and stay warm and cover up with anything else that I could that I had in my car. I also had a few canned goods in there that I could eat if I wanted to. It definitely was cold and wasn't the greatest conditions to stay in.
There were people that did notice. There was one girl that had literally asked me, "Are you poor?" And I will never forget looking down at my shoes and seeing holes in them, because everyone else had Vans, and at that time I had some shoes from Zodi's that had holes in the toes. And it was really hard, you know. Having external help could have really taken a lot of anxiety away that I've dealt with in my life.
I struggle sometimes to figure out what my life would have looked like had it not been for the fact that I made friends with somebody who took the time out of their world to encourage me and to mentor me and to give me guidance. I feel like it would have taken a different path. I was probably hanging around people that were not giving me that sense of direction that I needed.
I wasn't really embarrassed when Teens with Promise helped me. It was more, I felt safe. Like, I didn't feel like I was being judged for being a technically homeless youth. And working here now, I feel like I'm making the other teens that I help feel more comfortable that and like it's okay that they're in this situation.
Seeing that they cared about me enough to be able to really push me and actually have someone there to do that I never had before, that's what really pushed me to be able to succeed. And really it's kind of like getting a warm hug, really, is what it's like, is because nobody was there for that before. So getting that from someone, even though it's an organization, not a family member, it still really means a lot.
Teens with Promise is important to me because it gives us an outlet to direct our efforts. It gives us an ability to engage with the teens in our community, the next generation, the people in our community that will be taking the reins from us as we move on.
I think Teens with Promise offers, there's hope. There's hope for the future. Maybe life's bad right now, but in the future, with just a little bit of help and knowing that there's someone there for them, that they can make any path, any dream come true.
I have a great job. I have a wife. I have a son. We have a home that is not going to be taken from us, and I can support my family and be a role model to my son and give him what I did not have.
You know, I think Teens with Promise provides an advocacy and a way to bring together resources in our community that most people don't know exist. Most kids in that scenario don't know that they even need it, to provide those things in their life, like age-appropriate clothing, age-appropriate school supplies, direction, an outlet for them to grow, and mentorship. That's the important part. Those are the parts that I work towards to try and spread in our community. The important piece is to know that people care, and that people will care to guide you in the right direction.
When you support Teens with Promise, they can continue to help people that are in the situation that I was in.
Teens with Promise has been around since 2005, serving more than 2,500 kids per year. The organization provides teen-appropriate clothing, school supplies, medical dental care, and other services that teens might need to stay in school. These teens may be homeless, living in abusive situations, or living with parents who are working 2 or 3 jobs but still living in poverty. Our goal is to help teens finish high school, go on to college, and live successful adult lives.
Come alongside. Take the time to come alongside this organization. That's what I would encourage people to do, to come alongside this organization, knowing that their passion is helping youth in this community.